As a child, we've all had million dreams. That little moment when we've all rehearsed our lines while we're getting an award. Wanting to run through fields of golds, tulip rows, sunflowers, and of course windmills that are not part of your mind. And then every time you've thought of those or you've seen it on screen, you've wanted to live it one more time. And then there's another side, which gives me goosebumps every time I land and take off in God's own country, because it's home. But recently, I've started noticing small little specks arranged neatly in rows. And as we come down, those just seem to grow. And that was what I wanted to do, walk through those panels. What were they? How did they exist? How did they come into being? And they actually put us on the list of being the world's first 100% solar-powered airport. Yes, the Cochin International Airport. Welcome to India Diary Episode 6. Today, we're going to meet everyone behind the genius of this airport. So here comes the sun. Come with me. Let's explore this together with me. Hi, Jerin.
Hi.
So Jerin is actually the assistant manager electrical here, who's taking me through my dream come true moment, which is walking through panels of solar energy. So what is the job for people like you? You have to go looking through everything in the evenings and the nights?
No, actually, our job is we will install the panels.
Okay.
And we will carry out maintenance.
Okay.
We have a team for maintenance.
All right.
So we have to supervise that maintenance.
Okay.
And we have to check whether the plant is functioning or not.
Okay.
So that is the main.
So your checks are done through the day and through the night?
Yeah, we will do. There are certain processes. We have certain catalogs. So we'll do in day we have some checks, and monthly we have some checks.
Okay.
And all the activities, maintenance activities, will be done on the night, because other times we don't interrupt the production.
So you've also got a lot of organic vegetables growing under the panels.
Yeah.
How does that work?
No, that is separate. Actually, this organic farming we have given as a separate work. We have employed laborers. We also supervise that also. We will give the fertilizers and all the seeds to sow, and they will produce it, and our employees will buy the.
Okay.
things.
So, Jerin, working somewhere like this, you must be excited. Are you excited in your job?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You do?
Actually, we are enjoying our job. We are also allowing schools also, school students, college students to come and visit here. We are not putting any fees or thing.
Lovely.
Because this is a new technology, and they
it's
should also
educative
know.
as well.
Yeah.
So everybody who's watching this episode of India Diary, remember to make a trip to God's own country and to, of course, Cochin, and come to our international airport. You will be taken for a tour of these beautiful solar fields, as I call them. I'm sure you can see the happiness and the joy on my face, and it's kind of palpable. I feel like the child who was allowed to walk on the flooded street outside my house. Well, it's a dream come true to be able to walk through the solar panels. And the person who made it all possible for me, of course, is the Deputy General Manager Electricals of CIAL, the one and only Satish Pai. Hi Satish, and welcome to India Diary.
Thank you.
My God, it's so amazing to be here. And you know, when you're flying through the air and you look down and you see solar panels, you really don't think there's so much behind it. And you just think they're panels and the sun is going into it and you're getting energy. But only after meeting you and going there today, I realized that there's so much behind it. So what was the way it all started for you, and how did you decide to get into this kind of a job portfolio? And, you know, tell us something about your journey with the airport.
See, in 2012, when our Managing Director, Sri Vijay Kurian sir, assigned this task to me, I was actually in dark, nothing. Solar was even not in, I should say, nascent stages.
Yes.
In Kerala at least. So I collected all the informations in and out in Kerala, going outside also, whatever possible informations, and we had a pilot plant set up here. We started a 100 kilowatt plant in the first, and then when after it succeeded, we got confidence to go little higher capacity. Then we went for a 1000 kilowatt. That is 1000 kilowatt is equivalent to something like 500 homes powered.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot. So this 1 megawatt gave us a good mileage, and again built us more confident to go 100% solar. The concept of 100% solar.
So you said in the beginning that it was a nascent project. It was in its initial, it was like in an embryo stage, and you all really never had any knowledge. From that to become the only airport in the world to have a fully operational solar powered airport, how was that journey?
So it's actually you can say partly rough, because
Yes.
there were a lot of resistances, a lot of criticisms.
I was going to say that.
I
I'm sure
told
there
you
were.
that in-house there were a lot of criticisms, lot of resistances, but our managing director was very strong and supportive, and that gave me confidence and supporting force to finish this in time.
So, when you are talking about a solar plant, you're basically talking about these panels that are there, absorb the sunlight, and then give you electricity in your house or in the premises that you are in, right?
Yeah.
So, I also have a solar panel above my house, and that gives me hot water. So, how does that work?
Yeah. There are two technologies with solar connected. One is thermal, that is the heat part of the solar will be used. That is called solar thermal.
Okay. Yes.
Whereas the light part is used for making electricity. It's called photovoltaic.
Photovoltaic.
So photo part of that will be changed to the electricity with a photovoltaic panels.
Okay. So now we know that, of course, the solar panels work on the heat and the light that we get from the sun. Now we live in God's own country where we are always under clouds because of the rain. So tell us what happens during the rain and how does this function?
Yeah. See, rain means in a daytime it is not completely like dark. So during rainy time also you will get an output of 10% at least, 10 to 15%. Because sun is not completely not hidden.
So since we are talking about the rain, the obvious question that I'm going to ask you is what happened to our solar panels with the flood in 2018?
Our installation that time it was around 38 megawatts. 60% of that, or you can say rather 70% of that are gone underwater.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So were they ruined?
We had no experience during that time. During the flood time, these all got sunk into water. When we reached here, we tried to salvage each and everything. We could find out that solar panels are still producing. So we recovered all those things which had not been ruined in the flood with a what you call Himalayan effort. That is, in a short time,
yes.
we have to make it resume the production as far as possible. So we did the day and night out work with all the team members. Water had come to 9 feet level.
Oh my God.
9 feet level means the southern boundary area of our airport had been sinked into the water. Even during 15th of August when the flood started, actually we two GMs of civil and me was going to that site for just releasing the water with a JCB.
Why did you need a JCB?
We wanted to break that southern wall.
Okay.
So a JCB was going up front and we were traveling back in a jeep.
Okay.
For God's sake, fortunately that wall got opened itself by the water, and the gush of water was something like a waterfall. And if we had gone to there, I would have not been here to say this word. That was the situation. Those people who were guarding this, that is security guard and somebody else were there in that terminal and reporting to me that the inverters, when the sun came back after 2 days, the inverters started producing, the solar panels started producing in the water.
My God.
Wherever exposed, and the inverters flashed. So here and there some fire were occurring. Nothing could be done. You cannot approach that area because of the water logging.
But it's just amazing to think that you all got this airport back and running, had another airport working from the naval base, And our Pudia airport still remains Pudia. How long did it take you all to get everything sorted out?
I think within 11 days we recovered this airport from all the damage. The team behind this actually was amazing with the Kurians behind that. He took decisions like he was just taking the decision like cakewalk.
Yeah.
That was the way which encouraged everybody to make this happen. Within 11 days, operations was resumed back.
So Satish, you were telling me when I initially called you to find out about, when I wanted to come here, because this has just been something I've wanted to do ever since India Diary started, was you told me that the solar panels or the entire solar power was normally part of the Nedumbasheri airport. And now the Nedumbasheri airport is part of the solar plant.
Yeah, here actually we used to say, or rather it is being used to say that we had solar plants in our airports.
Yes.
In our airport. But now, after installation, this gone up to the scale of around 40 megawatt. It is all in and around the airport. The wording or jargon of that has been just slightly modified, that we also have an airport inside our solar plants.
How amazing. So we want to know more details about how it started, what were the technicalities, when did it first come into somebody's mind about the solar panels and solar power plant at the airport. So would you tell us more about it?
Yeah, of course. That is actually the brainchild of our managing director. I am a technical person behind that who supported him. I should say that it is started from his idea. Vijay Kurian sir's.
So now we're going to go and meet the man behind it all, the visionary Mr. Kurian. 25 years ago he thought about it, and well, he dared to dream. And I do believe now that saying by Richard Bach, it keeps ringing in my ear, that you're never given a dream without the power to make it come true. Now whether the power is solar or not, we're going to find out from him. Alright, so follow me. 25 years since its inception, 21 years since the first flight took off from this airport, 10 million passengers, and we still call it the Pudia Airport. And with me is the Pudia Airport's Paraya MD, because he and the airport seems to be just going on and on and on. Hi sir, it's so lovely to have you on India Diary, really.
Thank you.
How did you manage this? I mean, it's not easy, because people have said that you're the king of visual thinking and you have quoted yourself saying, I had a dream. You had a dream for all this to happen, but how?
We have been quite lucky. We have had good officers who worked with me. It has been a team effort. But way back in 1992, when I mooted this idea, not many people really believed us.
Did they think you were crazy?
I think to some extent.
Yes.
And from there, it was a hard work. From 93, I was the collector when I mooted the idea. 93, I moved in as a special officer's project. And we bought land from 3,800 landowners.
My God.
Evicted 820 houses. But we got everything done, up and running in just 6 years' time.
Wow.
99, May 25th, we had the first flight landing. And in June, we had the first commercial operations on. So, been a tough job, raising money, because we started with an initial capital of only 20,000 rupees.
For this airport?
And finally we ended up spending 300 crores. And so it has been a tough
That's
journey.
That's a long...
Very, very tough journey. From there onwards, we have been doing quite well. First 2-3 years, we incurred losses. I was there from 93 to 99, left in 99, came back in 2003. And after that, I had another 3-year stint here. 2006, I left, came back again in 2011.
So you're like the prodigal son, you just keep returning.
Keep coming
back. Yes.
And from there, 2011 onwards, we have had a steady growth.
Is it true that we're the 4th busiest airport in India?
In international traffic, yes.
Oof, wow.
After Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai, we are the 4th largest in terms of international traffic.
Unbelievable.
Very true.
It's so much.
We have had such a lot of NRA passengers
yes.
using it, and then tourism also has developed. We brought the city of Cochin from this center business district into the north of Ernakulam.
That's right.
The city also grew along with it.
Of course it has, but I can't understand how you have still maintained this airport is still today called the new airport.
Very true, very true.
That's, I think, because you'll have gone through phases of continually
Very true,
changing
very
the
true,
face of
very
it,
true.
right?
In fact, in 2017, we had the T3 up and running.
Yes.
And 2019 end, 18 end, we had the T1 also up
Yes,
and running.
which was
So,
amazing considering the floods and everything
very
happened.
true, very true. So we keep ourselves updated, we keep ourselves doing refurbishing as and when it is required. So the traffic had increased in a big way in the domestic. So we had no aero bridges in the T2, which was the earlier
Yes.
domestic airport. We refurbished the T1 and then brought in the 7 aero bridges are there. I mean, people were complaining that you have such a long monsoon, almost 6 months, and you have to walk in the train.
That's right.
So we said we did go for the new, completely new building, and it has been very well, highly appreciated by the
So
public.
I think all your critics must have been very happy that he's been busy building aero bridges till they, of course, was hit with the next idea you came up was to make this entire airport solar powered.
Very true, very true.
How did you think about it?
In fact, I think the whole idea germinated sometime in 2012.
Okay.
We were actually buying power from the Kerala State Electricity Board.
Okay.
And one fine morning, they increased the rates from 4 rupees per unit to something like 6.5 or something. So we thought, why not look at an alternate source of energy? And secondly, that was a time when people were talking about the environmental friendly power production. So we started with a small 100 kilowatt unit. We found it was successful. Then we upgraded ourselves to 1 megawatt, that's 1000 kilowatt. We found that we can actually produce about 4,000 units of power from a 1 megawatt of power per day. Then we actually worked out how much is the requirement of the airport. We found that we needed 48,000 units per day.
Wow.
So we added another 12 megawatts, which means our total capacity will get enhanced to 52,000.
Okay, so you'll have excess.
Excess. So when I broached this idea to then Chief Minister, Mr. Umanjandi, he was extremely supportive. He said, go ahead. We had some little controversy about the solar time, about at that
Oh yes,
around
oh my
that
God, don't we all remember
and,
that?
so, but he was very magnanimous. He said, these are all politics. You don't bother about it. Go ahead and do it. And 2015, so it took a little time for us to
move it.
conceptualize how to raise the money and all. Finally, by 2015, we had the airport completely powered by solar energy. And that was in 2015. Then we brought in a lot of changes. We started growing vegetables.
60,000 tons, yes, of organic vegetables growing under the solar panels. Unbelievable. How do you do these things?
These are all ideas coming in from our own offices. So otherwise, you have to spend money for cutting the weeds.
That's right.
So we said, why not we try to do that, grow some vegetable underneath. In any case, we clean the panels every week.
Yes.
So that water actually was converted into irrigation for the creepers. So it has been a pure common sense.
But it's so true to, it's so in keeping with the theme of God's own country, because everything is supposed to be according to our systems, is about land and, nature, and of course intelligence, which we hope we are using wisely.
Very true.
But sir, what I really wanted to ask you, and it has been, I've been thinking about it, is how come nobody else in the world thought about it and you thought about it?
In fact, that's quite a surprise even today. We also feel that how come other airports, even after 2015, nobody has been able to replicate this. And today we produce 40 megawatts of power.
So every need of this airport is taken care of by the solar energy.
In fact, these days we actually export it to the Kerala State Electricity Board. We have surplus.
So when you give this back to the grid, do you get money for that, or
No,
do
we
you
actually
get power for it?
We get power.
All right.
What happens in the monsoon season? The production comes down.
That's right.
What I talk about 4,000 units from each megawatt power means now when the summer is there, we produce up to 6,000 units from 1 megawatt. But in this monsoon time, it comes down to 2,000, 3,000.
So whatever you give back to the grid is
we
given to
buy
you.
back, or
It's given
we
back.
adjust it.
We
actually.
adjust it. Okay. So now I wanted to know is that first of all, it's a bizarre dream, which is like, okay, he dreams with his eyes wide open, that too with the sun glaring into it. And from there to become a role model. Right now, our airport is a model
Very true.
for the rest of the world. So why isn't many people actually adopting this idea? Is it because of the kind of competition they may be having with parallel companies that are providing the same solutions, or is it because of political and whatever else?
Frankly, I really do not know why they haven't adopted our model.
But there must be competition, right?
Yeah,
for
one
you?
is, I think, probably they're getting power at a much lower cost.
Okay.
It could be one. Second is they didn't want to invest this sort of amount of money. It cost you about 5 crores per megawatt.
Okay.
Now it has come down. Maybe nowadays we are doing it at almost 3.5 to 3.8 crore rupees per megawatt. The cost has come down.
So as the efficiency is going up, you feel the cost of these panels are
No,
coming
because
down?
the massive production of solar panels, cost has come down. A lot of people are producing a lot of solar panels now.
And of course, you have proven that this is a very efficient plan.
Very true, very true. In fact, economically and technically, it is one of the most viable projects which we have taken up. We got all our money back in 5 years' time.
You did. It never ran at a loss. And then just about when you got the whole thing back is when the floods hit.
Very true, very true.
And how did you deal with that situation?
It has been a tough time. The airport was closed for almost 15 days.
Yes, we remember.
We had to put the airport back in action. But by the time we had won the Champion of the Earth award also.
Yes.
So we didn't want to go to UN and say that, we got the award, but then it's still underwater. But we made sure that, I think we have very sincere officers who made sure before we received the award, all the panels were back into action.
It's not easy. It was
Very
not
true. Needed a lot of commitment,
and
sincerity,
dedication. And I wanted to ask you, and I had asked Satish this question earlier. They always say that the big boys don't cry. And now when I land into the Cochin airport and I see these panels, I have an emotional attachment
Very
to it.
true, very true.
So when you saw your panels underwater, how did you feel? I mean, at that point, I don't think you were even... Did you feel broken? Did you feel it was like a child? Or did you feel... What was your feeling when you saw it?
A lot of disappointment, but we had the feeling that we can get back. I mean, after all, we built something from nothing in this airport.
Yes.
From 20,000 rupees, and me as the only employee, we went on to become this...
You were the only employee?
Yeah. The first year I was the only employee.
My God.
From there, today we have 12,000 people working in this airport, in the premises itself, of which 3,000 are women.
I know, which is so amazing.
Very true.
And you were saying that the entire reeling of the tarmac was actually
Done
spearheaded
by
by
the
7
very
women.
true, very true, very true.
That I think is going to be a totally new and different episode on India Diary, because we wouldn't be able to keep everything going in this one. And Mr. Kurian has been talking to us now about the UN award. The UN award was actually the UN Champion of the Earth award. Can you tell us what was that award all about?
In fact, we were in the news for quite a long time about the first airport in the world, completely powered by solar energy. The moment we opened in 2015, we had a Keralite working in Al Jazeera who actually broke the story. After that, it has been coming in BBC, CNN, what have you. I think we have had about 20 foreign channels who came here to publicize. So it actually was brought to the notice of the UN environmental organization also. So they came down with a big team, examined whatever it is. And they were also quite surprised by the fact that we grow vegetables underneath. We had the UN the secretary who was actually surprised by the pumpkins grown.
Yes, even I was surprised of the pumpkins and the cabbage and the brinjal and the
Very
turmeric.
True.
And also the cauliflower.
Very true. Very
yeah.
True. So they were quite surprised by the innovation and the way we took it forward. So they said it has to be recognized, and we were awarded the award. This memento for the UN Champion of the Earth Award 2018.
Yes.
And we were the only airport, even today, which has won an award under the Champion of the Earth category.
Now that you have these panels and you have an entire solar plant, do you really believe that this has perpetrated to the people working for you? Have they all become conscious of their carbon footprint? The people working for you don't go back home and do something else. Because when we work as a community, we start living off each other and understanding. So,
In fact, some of the majority of our employees have started having solar panels on their rooftop.
Yes, even we do. Yes, even I have that.
Yeah. Secondly, people became aware, so we went in for LED lights.
Yes.
So the consumption of the power also comes down a little.
So on one level, I wanted to ask you this because I seem to be as crazy as you are and ask you these crazy questions like I asked you about security. You thought about, of course, solar power. But we are a part of the country which gets so much of rain. So didn't we ever think of using rain harvesting? And
we have.
you do?
Yeah, under the T3 building, there was such a massive rainwater harvesting tanks there. We use rainwater harvesting in a big way. We have actually I don't know whether you have seen we have a sewage treatment plant. The water which is which is the wastewater, whatever you call it, it's actually pumped into a golf course.
My God.
And that is used for irrigating the greens there.
So come rain or shine, this airport is never going to say die. But when you're working on this level, sir, what are the limitations you feel that you face?
Basically, money is a major constraint and acceptability of a new idea. But we are fortunate to have a board of directors under the Chief Minister who is very amenable to any new ideas. That is.
But you're also lucky you've had a whole run of chief ministers who've always agreed with you.
Very true, very true.
So you've been able to keep the balance of the political parties as well.
Very true. But basically because everybody knows we have no other vested interest or agenda in it. And we keep trying to improve. I always believe in the fact that there's always a room for improvement. In fact, the road from the national highway into the airport is actually owned and maintained by us.
Which we can see. It's a whole different ball game.
Very true.
It feels like the olden days going to an estate.
Very true. In fact, we do have people, trying to pluck out the plant itself, flowers. It's all part of the game. We tend to be very.
So it's okay. You can still, replace a flower or a plant. It doesn't. Have you had theft of your solar panels?
No, not at all.
No, really?
People are a little scared whether there will be power inside.
Is there a chance that you can get a shock if you touch the solar panels? Because it's written below there, do not touch.
Yeah, only if you hold both the hands together, then the issue comes up. Otherwise, it's a DC current.
Okay. And is there any side effects of having so many solar panels all around? Is there any effects like, you have where people talk about radiation, this, that and the other, and people are like, there's so many panels, it must be so bad for the people who live around it. Are there, you have to tell me that because I don't know about it.
Basically, there has not been a criticism on to the usage of solar panels. What they criticize is, after 25 years, what will happen to this?
Okay.
So, will it be a waste in terms of where will it be dumped and what have you?
But does each solar panel have a longevity? How long?
Normally it's 30 years.
Okay.
The moot question is, why are you using this precious land for?
But what were they going to do on that precious land if you hadn't taken it?
No, they were cultivators. It was lying fallow. It was fallow. Some of the areas, the majority of the area we actually acquired were brick lanes. Actually, they had actually dug up the whole place, made bricks out of it. It was lying actually completely fallow, but we developed it, and that developed land is being used for the placing of the solar panels. This land is earmarked for certain category of activities, like the major area where you have 42 acres, it's meant for the future expansion of the cargo terminal. So as and when the cargo terminals are put up, this will be actually replaced and put it on the top of those terminals, on the rooftop. So it will not be a waste at all.
So your entire reason for having solar electricity or rather solar panels around the airport was because the electricity board actually hiked the rate of the power for
in
your
fact,
bills.
the primary reason was that.
Okay.
Second was, to go green as
Okay.
per this trend.
Yes.
And obviously, we are contributing to the reduction of the carbon footprint by doing this.
Of course. So I suppose sometimes your primary becomes your secondary, and
Yeah,
the
that's
secondary
true.
ends
That's
up
true.
becoming the primary.
In fact, I think the UN, their statement says, we have CIAL has proved that green business is good business.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's
the only
something.
green that's bad that comes from envy, which is, I suppose, the rest of the world is
It's all,
feeling.
it's all in the game.
So, of course, you have a dream and you want it to come true, but you also need the power. So, how did you know what you would need? How did you calculate your requirements? How did you envision it happening? That's a totally different ballgame. You can just say, okay, I want solar panels. But there were certain requirements for
Very
it.
true, very
And
true.
how did you envision what would be needed? What kind of computer programming was needed? What kinds of models were made? What were the kind of people needed to be recruited? Obviously not somebody like me, because I failed in physics, math and chemistry. But I'm saying, honestly speaking, you needed people from all walks of life. But how did you zero into what was required?
No, as I said, our requirement was 48,000 units, but that was the money which we were paying to the
So
Kerala.
basically,
So that was the base on which
you
so we have to
calculated
produce
your
at
requirements.
Yeah, we have to produce at least 48,000.
Okay.
So that was the base requirement. And to talk about the personnel, we have out of 112 senior the managers here, almost 100 odd people are engineers.
Okay.
We have a system right from inception, right from 1995. We have been recruiting only engineers for this. So we could actually leverage their talent into this. And thirdly, predicting for the future.
That's right. How did you know that?
We were envisaged, we were building, there is a base on which how much building is required, floor space is required for one passenger. So that way, T3, we actually put up 1.5 million square feet.
Wow. Per passenger, what they need.
That's about 26 square feet per passenger, peak time. So on that basis, the building was designed. For that building, lighting, how much is required, how much is required for running the machines, how much is required for running the air conditioners. So that was calculated. All are calculated by our own engineers. So then we finally came to a conclusion, ultimately we needed 40 megawatts of power. And now we are going to have the maintenance hangar coming up. I think hopefully it will be opened by April this year, in 2 months.
2020.
And our hotel should be up and running by December 2020.
That
we have
is
a 5-star hotel coming up.
A CIAL?
Yeah.
My God. Okay.
It's a 112 room hotel coming. So now we have realized that we need more power. So what we have done is we have bought land in a place called Payadur in Kannur.
Okay.
We are putting up a solar panel of 12 megawatts. Then that will be actually used for the purpose here. It will be.
So now we also have 4 airports in Kerala, right? But this is a standalone?
Yeah.
It's not attached to the other airports.
No.
So now I think the biggest industry in Kerala is going to be the CIAL.
hopefully.
No, because I'm seeing you all are self-sufficient with your power. You're doing rainwater harvesting. You've got your vegetables growing, which are organic. And now you've got your own hotel coming up. And as I read somewhere that you said the only good business in the world is when it could be useful for other people.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
So you had said these things. So when you have something like this industry running, it has to be, on one level, of course, you need macro management, but it has to be having a lot of micro management as well.
Our officers are very capable people. I mean, they do you must have seen our assistant managers, they go into the smallest of details. How the nuts will be placed, it's gone. They do the work. We work to a limited number of people because we give them a lot of freedom also.
Yes, that's
they
important.
They come out with new ideas. And we are quite receptive to new ideas. We are ready with a Hydel project also, which will be commissioned hopefully by May end.
Okay.
These are all done by our own engineers. So it's
basically I can come to the conclusion that everything needs to be calculated pretty much. Because for all of you with the same mindset, calculation is very, very Easy, like playing cards or somebody making mean to each other, or somebody singing a song or dancing. But for a layman like me who doesn't understand the power of calculation, all I know is my mind is different. Do all of you, after being so specific and so engineered and thinking about solar panels, how do you all ever, what is your way of enjoying your life, or what is your entertainment?
I really don't see even movies. I mean, it's just that I come here, I leave normally by 7:38 in the evening.
So there's no...
I mean, probably this is part of our entertainment also, I think.
Yes, with your team and...
Maybe sometimes I have little land, so I do a little bit of farming. Otherwise, it's...
Yes, because I've realized that everybody is traveling literally 45, 50 kilometers, everything to come to work, which is about, translates to 100 kilometers for many people in the CIAL. But they're happy to come to work every day and go back. And
that's sort of a commitment actually has taken this company forward.
And I think commitment comes with its own high,
Yeah, they feel satisfied, I mean, when we went to receive the award in US, we took all of them along.
Oh, you travelled all the way?
Yeah, all of them who worked for it, all of them came to us.
And truly, there's always goosebumps landing into Kerala, because you're coming back home. It's a totally different view. It's not buildings, it's not jhopadis, it's just green, green, green and more green. And now when you come in and you see these panels, it really gives me goosebumps, though I don't understand the workings of it. But it just keeps making me think how we're such a small part of the world. But we've really changed the way the world looks at us.
Very true.
And for the right reasons for a change.
That's true. We have been quite lucky. I mean, maybe...
No, you're lucky also, but there's hard work has got no...
Yeah, a lot of...
the only side effect of hard work is success.
That's true. In fact, we've been very, very... careful about not only the environment, about the people whose house were taken for the airport, acquisition of the airport. And we are, as I said earlier, we had 820 people who actually lost the houses. Not only did we rehabilitate them, we bought out about 56 acres of land, developed it, and every person was given 6 cents of land free of cost.
Oh, that's lovely.
Even if you had 2 cents of land or 10 acres, we gave them 6 cents of land. We provided power, water supply to that plot. We maintained that road also. Apart from that, all the 820 are working in the airport today.
My God.
The peon you see outside is actually a person who lost his house. You take a taxi out of Cochin airport, the prepaid thing, be rest assured is either a person who lost his house or land. We have 600 of them actually using these. So we have made sure that the local community, the people who have been affected by the land acquisition, is also taken care.
Yes, because another thing that I realized, like how Satish was telling me earlier, that before we had a solar plant in the airport, now we have an airport in the solar plant. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it feels nice about it. I mean, we have given so much of importance to the renewable energy.
Yes.
And the fact that the world has noticed it also.
And do you have a message to anybody who have industries where they can reduce their carbon footprint? That
in a big way.
What would you advise them?
No, I think they should adopt the renewable energy in the years to come. And I personally believe in the next 15-20 years, the whole world will be on renewable energy. The fossil fuel will lose its importance in the next 15 to 20 years. You're talking about Tesla car. Recently, we have had an agreement with the Cochin Metro. They have the electric buses picking up passengers from here,
taking them to the metro station.
So we insisted when they said they will provide a bus. I said we need an electric bus. If you come to Cochin Airport, it has to be an electric bus.
How amazing!
So I feel the world over 15-20 years, massive changes from the fossil fuel into the renewable energy, and we are happy that we started it a long time back.
Yes, but that's what keeps amazing me, is that when you started this journey at 38, those days, which was 25 years ago, we did not know so much about so many things. You refused to just let it be there, and you've moved on, and there are things which most people would have said, oh, I don't know, Inka Riya Mela, it's beyond my grasp. You have a team of people who are younger than you, You've used their expertise and put it together because, as you said, the larger outcome was to use renewable energy.
Very true.
And that's the only way forward, you feel.
Very true, very true. No doubts about it. So we are going for the next phase. We will be connecting Cochin Airport with this Cochin city through a waterway, for which we are ready with our solar board.
My God.
We keep trying to be a little ahead of time, so that we try to anticipate certain decisions we make might go wrong, but we always had the courage to take a decision.
To try, because otherwise you would never know, right?
Very true, very true.
But thank you so much. It's been
Thank
just
you.
absolutely wonderful speaking to you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
it just makes you feel that, yes, you have to keep trying and keep believing. And honestly, CIAL is one of the reasons I'm the proudest to be a Malayali. And it's the biggest industry, I think. It is an industry because it's about heart, it's about soul, it's about expertise. And more than anything else, it's about the sun and it's about the rain. And in this part of the world, the sun keeps shining even when it's raining. So never forget that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching India Diary Episode 6. Here comes the sun. Please remember, there's always sunlight even when you don't see it, because it's hiding behind the clouds. We would like to thank the Managing Director of CIAL, Mr. Vijay Kurian, for extending his support for making sure this episode comes to you. And of course, the man who was behind it all, the Senior Manager Electrical, Satish Kumar Pai. And please remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel, India Diary by Anjali Uthup on YouTube. You could follow us on Instagram at India Diary by Anjali Uthup. You could email us, yes, for anything that you would like to know or share at indiadiary22@gmail.com. This is me, yours and only your Anjali. See you soon for episode 7.